this is Lacey, your Las Vegas gal. I'm here with my good friend Amber Coleman from Guild Mortgage. Hello. We're here to continue our educational process of helping you understand the terminology that is used in the home loan process and really the home buying process. There's a lot of terminology thrown at you. There's a lot of acronyms. There's a lot of information that I even get a headache from. I'm sure you do. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So I want to just kind of help you, even if you're not buying in Nevada or you're not buying with me and you're not working with Amber, you're crazy, but just saying, we want to help educate you because really at the end of the day, if you're more educated, you can have a better and more comfortable and a happier experience in the process of buying a house, which is what matters. So today we're going to talk about appraisal. A lot of people don't know what an appraisal is, why it's needed, and why they have to pay for it because it does cost money, but it's required if you're doing a home loan, correct?
Yes, it is required.
So what is an appraisal?
And so sometimes people do mix up too the difference between appraisal and an inspection.
That happens every day. So we'll talk about inspection in a minute.
Okay.
The appraisal, you want to say it or do you want me to?
I'll say it. So the appraisal is when we're going to send out a third party person so he's not related to us or anybody in the transaction in any way.
Right. He's not a buddy of the realtor. He's not a buddy. He or she's not a buddy of hers. Like they do that for collusion purposes. They don't want like you to call your guy and say, "Hey, we want to buy this house, but you need to value it for lower so we can get a better price." It has to be a neutral third party. That's
exactly.
Like, legally, it has to be that.
Exactly. So we have to actually order it through a third party company, and then they have a pool of appraisers, and then they pick one of the appraisers just to make sure that it's done on a random basis.
Yes.
So what the appraiser is going to do is they're going to go out to the house. And it'll kind of look like an inspection, but they're not really inspecting things on a really deep level. They're going to take pictures of all the bedrooms so that they can prove to the bank how many bedrooms are in the house. They're going to take pictures of all the bathrooms to prove to the bank how many bathrooms are in their house. And they'll take pictures of the front and the back of the house.
And sometimes the neighborhood, things like that, right?
They do, yeah, because they'll have to pull comps too. And then they'll also, a lot of times if I'm ordering a government appraisal, they'll have to make sure that the water's working, that the hot water's heater's working, that there's straps around the hot water heater.
And that's because the government, if they're backing the loan that you're receiving, they want to make sure that they're investing in a quality product, right?
Yeah.
So an appraisal is a really, really important part of the process. It has to happen, and it has to happen very quickly within I think it's 10 or 15 days, depending on what your contract states, in order for you to be able to continue with the process of buying the house. It has to happen in order to get the loan approved. It just has to happen. There's an inspection and an appraisal, and they happen at the same time, and a lot of people confuse them. The appraisal is really meant to help the bank who's lending you the money feel good about the purchase and know that you're not paying $500,000 for a $200,000 home. And so they're really just there to ensure that the house is worth what you're paying, and that if it's valued a little higher, great for you, then you're paying less than what it's worth. It's a perk. If it's valued lower, then that gives an opportunity for you to go back and renegotiate the sales price. So it's a super important part, and it really just makes it's like you want to kick the tires and make sure that the car works before you buy it, and that's kind of what the bank's doing. And inspection is a really also very, very important part. It has to happen right away. It also costs money, not a ton, but it definitely costs money to the buyer, and that also has to happen in that 15-day period. It's usually ordered by the real estate professional. And then it's an actual physical person who will go look at every nook and cranny and crack and the doorbells and the knobs and make sure everything is up to snuff, and will write a report on anything that is not appropriately working, that shows cracks or damages or anything of that nature. So it's kind of like a lemon law. Like when you're buying a house, you want to know if it's been in an accident before. That's kind of what an inspection is for. They make sure that you know, hey, did you know there was a water leak here? Apparently there's some water damage on the wall. Or hey, did you know that the washer doesn't even work? Or hey, did you know there's a cracked roof tiles? Things like that. So inspection and appraisal both send people out to the house to look. One is to check the value of the home in the area and compare it to homes in the area. The other is to make sure that you know what you're getting so that you can either request repairs or just go, yeah, I know that there's cracked tiles on the roof and I don't care, I'm still going to buy the house. So, and so how, when it comes to inspection and appraisal, how does that blend together when it comes to getting the loan approved and everything processing on your side?
The inspection, we don't ask for a copy of the inspection. The appraisal is very important. So they have to actually go through steps on the appraisal. So the appraiser, depending on the type of loan program, they have to go within the neighborhood or within a mile, pull comparables that are around. So usually it's the same house if it's in a tract community, and see how much they value compared to this one. So they're going to make sure that they pull
recent sales.
Recent sales. They have to be within a certain time frame, like 6 months.
I think it's like 6 months usually.
But if there's anything closer, then they'll pull closer. But the appraisal has to go through several different levels of
just
verifying
it, yeah,
to make sure that it's good.
Yeah.
Because the bank does want to make sure that the borrower is protected and the bank's protected,
right,
and that there is true value in the house.
And just so you know, like when I'm selling a home for a client, I put my appraisal hat on and I pretend as if I'm an appraiser. I don't know, I'm not an appraiser, I'm not an expert, so don't ask me, but I try to go with as much knowledge as I have on looking at the comps in the area, looking back at sales for the last 6 months, making sure that the comparables I'm looking at have similar bedroom sizes, similar number of garages, like 2 or 3 garages. How big is the yard? Is it a pool? Is there not a pool? Are there upgrades? Are there not? So that I can price the home appropriately, because you never want to price a home and then have someone offer way less. You take that price and then realize it was actually worth way more. So you, as a real estate professional, need to, when you're selling a home even, have to look as if you're an appraiser to make sure that you're aligning the pricing with the home to make sure it's going to appraise when the appraiser comes around and does their checking up. So cool. So I hope this helped you learn a little bit more about appraisals and inspections and kind of the difference and why it's so important in the loan process. If you have questions about getting qualified for a loan, or you're thinking about buying a house, click on the links below. Let me know, and we'd be happy to get in touch with you and give you more information. Otherwise, thanks for joining me and for all your good information. And thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe this video. Tell all your friends about Las Vegas Gal. Thanks so much.